The narcissist thinks you still want them. Yes, you heard that right. As hard as it may be for you to believe, they actually think that you still want them. And of course, many of you don't want them. If you receive a message or a phone call from them, you feel sick to your stomach. It makes you want to run away. You don't want to be around them. You don't want to be around that negative energy. After everything that they did to you, they put you through hell. They did all of these things to intentionally and deliberately harm you. So of course you don't want anything to do with them after that. When someone harms you deliberately and they see the effects that it's having on you and they continue to do it, and then after some time you develop the awareness, you realize what they're trying to do, you realize that they're trying to harm you and they have no mercy on you. When you realize that, this is when your brain tells you that you need to run away. You need to get away from them because they're only going to continue to harm you. And you become aware that yes, while they may display illusions and give you little bits of what you want to see, they're always going to go back to who they are, which is an abuser. They're people who abuse, people who harm, and you don't want to be around that. Because after some time, you begin to realize your worth, you begin to value yourself, and you realize that you are not deserving of that type of treatment. You have value to bring to the world, and you are a responsible, accountable person. You are a productive member of society, and you are a person who realizes that they deserve better treatment. They do not deserve to be abused. But this is where we get into the problem though, because narcissists, as I've said many times before in my videos, they do not self-reflect. So you look at them and you see this crazy person, and many of you may have taken videos of them when they were attacking you, when they were abusing you, and you look back at these things and you know exactly who they are. This monster, this person who constantly attacks you, they put you down, they abuse you, and they don't take any responsibility for it. Instead they blame you for your reaction to it after they've pushed your buttons. So you see them as exactly as they are, because you remember back all of the things that they've done to you. But because they don't self-reflect and because they lack self-awareness, they're not seeing themselves in that way. They're not seeing themselves in the way that you do. And just to show you how crazy they are, the absurdity of it, I've experienced this myself so many times. A narcissist could go and punch you in the face, and then to defend yourself you might push them away, and they'll just completely forget about what they did to entice you, and instead they will focus on your reaction. And yet at the same time they could bring up something that you did from 10 years ago and make it as though it's relevant today. But then if you try to bring up something from 10 seconds ago, they would just brush it aside, or they would just completely deny it. just to show you how crazy they are. And it should help you to understand how they can still think that you want them despite everything that they have done to you. Because they are borderline crazy, they are delusional, they're arrogant, and they are very entitled. They believe that if they want something, they should have it without doing the work, without having to treat you right or treat you with respect. They just see you as an object, and just because they want you, they believe that they should have you. They don't believe that they should have to treat you right, because remember, it's all about them and what they want. You're supposed to do things for them, and they can abuse you, they can toss you aside, they can do whatever they want, and they shouldn't have to answer for that, because in their minds, they are the ultimate authority, and you are their subordinate, so you answer to them, not the other way around. They're meant to be the ones who have power over you, and they tell you what to do. And for these reasons, yes, they think that you still want them. And I know it may make you sick just to even to fathom that in your mind, to think that this person, after everything they did to you, they actually think that you still want them. It's crazy, because they think that you're so brainwashed, and they're looking at it from their past successes where they have managed to manipulate people into staying with them and doing all these things to them, and still making them think that they are the problem, because they've been successful at that in the past, and they've got all of these enablers, all of these people who support them. They're looking at it like, I can do whatever I want and you'll still accept me, you'll still want me back, you'll still want me, is how they think in their minds. They're crazy. They really are. They really believe that they can do whatever they want to you, and you will just forget about it. And that is actually exactly what they want you to do. They want you to make it easy for them, so that they can do whatever they want and have whatever they want with you, and they never have to answer for anything. Yeah, that's exactly what they want to see. Because remember, it's all about them. It's all about them getting what they want at your expense. And yeah, you will see a lot of controlling behavior. They're constantly trying to control your perception. They're constantly trying to entice, tempt you. They're constantly trying to pull you into something, because of course when you're constantly demonstrating to them that you're not wanting to deal with them anymore, that's destroying their reality, their illusion. That's breaking that apart. And narcissists don't think or act like normal people. So when you do something that threatens the illusion, they don't look at it like, oh, maybe I got it wrong, maybe this is just some fantasy I made in my mind and you don't really want me. No, what they do is they try to continue the illusion at all costs. When you threaten the illusion, they feel insecure, and when they feel insecure, they try to regain that security within themselves, that stability, and they do that by trying to control you, by trying to control your perception of them, by trying to make you want them again. And they'll do that by trying to get you to forget about all of the abuse, all of the things that they did to you. They may return to the love bombing phase, and yeah, they'll try and pull you back in. They'll try to tempt you by posting pictures, whatever it is, on social media. They may even come back, give you flowers, chocolates, whatever it is, to try and change your perception of them, to try to make you want them again. They may try to mirror your ideals, your interests. They will try and do all of these things because they want you to want them. That's what they want. And they're going to do whatever it takes to get that. They don't care about reality. They don't care about the truth. They don't care that you don't actually want them. They're not even thinking like that. Because for the illusion to continue and for their false self to exist, they have to have this arrogance and entitlement. They have to believe that no matter what, you must want them, regardless of what they've done to you. And I'll be honest, at times it can be very powerful when a person is so sure of themselves, so confident. I will admit that it has worked on me in the past, where I have been abused, I've been manipulated, and despite that, I've still taken people back because they've brought back this illusion, the love bombing, and they tricked me. And I know that's probably happened to you as well, because I know that on average, victims leave the narcissist or get discarded around 7 times before it's finally over, despite everything that was done to them. That's how powerful the manipulation can be. And it also depends on how susceptible you are to it. So you need to focus on finding your own power within yourself. You need to remind yourself of what it is that you actually want for real, because this is the problem. When you get involved with a narcissist, all of that goes out the window. You forget about everything that you want and you take on their ideals. You become who they want you to be and you start chasing what they want you to chase, even though it's not even what you're about. But they fed this to you, they drilled it inside your mind, and yeah, then you go looking for it. And it's all because they still think that you want them. They have to think that you still want them. That's the only way that their reality can make any sense. If you don't want them, what are they supposed to do? All of this time they've invested into you, they just forget about all of that. Then they've got nothing to do. It destroys their ego. They feel unimportant, irrelevant. So that's the last thing they're going to do, is think that you don't want them. That doesn't serve them in any way. It gives them a purpose. It's a reason for them to get up in the morning and check their phone, see if they've got a text from you, see what they're going to do to try and get you back. That gives them a purpose. And they've got nothing else to do with their lives. So they need to have something to do. They need to have a reason, a motivation. And they get that by drilling this belief in their own minds that you still want them, even though that may not be the case. Because in a lot of situations, of course, it gets to a point where a victim can just not lie to themselves anymore. I mean, there's just so many acts of abuse in these relationships. It just piles up month after month, year after year, to the point where it just becomes undeniable. It's like, what do you expect me to think or to believe? At some point, I can only see you as you actually are, rather than who you want me to think that you are. Because of the endless acts of abuse, recklessness and carelessness. I mean, it is clear that they do lack discipline. They have an inability to control themselves and their actions. They're very impulsive. And that's why they depend so heavily on the illusion. And the illusion is pretty much just forget about everything I've shown you, forget about everything I've done, and just take me as I am today, even though I have no intentions of changing or being anything better. I mean, of course, I understand people make mistakes, people do things wrong in the past, and sometimes it is time to leave the past in the past so that people can change and be better. Of course, I understand that, but they do that with no intentions of changing anything. And it's only a matter of time until they show their face again, and you see them for who they actually are underneath the mask. So that's a completely different situation altogether. I mean, fair enough, if someone is actually, for real, they are thinking about changing and being better, and you see that they're taking action, I can understand that. But with narcissists, they come back with these false apologies, fake epiphanies, and all these promises of changing and building a future with you and being better, when they know fully well they're not going to change anything. They're going to be exactly the same because they're quite comfortable with it. They're quite comfortable with acting that way. They prefer dysfunctionality, so they have no intentions of changing anything. They're going to remain exactly the same. They don't see a problem with it. But they know that you do. Yes, they are aware. They do know what you want. That's how they're able to shape shift and change to match your ideals. They know. They may not know what an empath is, but they know that you possess those traits. They know that you are a good person. They know that you care. Of course they know that. Just look back, you can see that they used those traits that they saw as weaknesses, they used them against you. They used that to get inside your mind. So of course they are aware of that, and that is why they come back and they act like these saints, like these reformed people who understand, they know they did some things wrong, but now they're trying, they want to make things different. They wouldn't be able to think that way if they didn't know that something was wrong for you. It's not wrong for them, but they know it's wrong for you. So they wouldn't be able to do that. They wouldn't be able to process that in their minds if they weren't aware of your true character. All of these things, everything that is good about you, everything that is positive, they are not trying to use that to create a better situation, because that doesn't serve them. All they care about is their ego, their emotions, and their needs. So they're only going to use these positive qualities about you as a weapon to destroy you. That's all they're going to do. They don't value these positive things about you. They don't care about that. It doesn't benefit them in any way other than if they can use it to hurt you. But yes, they are aware that you care. They are aware that you're a good person. There is no question about it. That is undeniable. I can guarantee it. That is a fact, and that is actually potentially the number one reason why they targeted you in the first place, is because, and I see this pattern all the time in all of my clients, the number one thing is that people care. I mean, this is common sense. Just think about it. All of these people who watch these videos, the number one trait is that they care. It matters to them. If it didn't, they would never have found my videos in the first place. So that's how you already know that it's pretty much the number one reason why they targeted you in the first place. It's what made you a suitable victim, because how can you be victimized if you don't even give a shit in the first place? You can't. How can you victimize someone who doesn't care? That would never work. But yet they trick themselves in their minds, and they twist it as though you caring means that you still want them, as though you care about them, which of course many of us do. Yes, we do care about other people and we want other people to be better, but they have no intentions of being better or changing. That was never the plan for them. The plan for them was to manipulate and control you, dominate you, and keep you as their puppet so they can pull the strings whenever they want to. And that's all they're trying to do. They're seeking power and control. Everything they do, everything you see from them is power and control. That's all it is. It has no other meaning. You're taking it as something else. You're looking at it like, oh, maybe they do care. Maybe they do see things the way that I do. Maybe they do want to change. Maybe they do want to be better. No, you're wrong again. It's just another act of gaining power and control over you. That's all that it is, because they know what you want. They know what you want to see. But guess what? They ain't about any of that for real. They're not about any of that for real. No matter how much you wish that they were. And yes, they know that you want to see that. They know that that is what you want to see. You want to see change. You want to see things getting better. Yes, they know that, and they use that against you. They see that as a weakness, and they use it so that they can customize their own weapon to destroy you. That's all that it is. Because remember, they're always watching you, they're studying you, they're stalking you. Not only on social media, but sometimes in person as well. Because they want to see, what do you want? And then I'll be that. I'll mirror your interests and ideals, even though I know that I'm not even about that for real. I'll just reflect that back to you to make you think that I'm about that, so that I can gain power and control over you. And by being aware of that, you should know that they are completely fake, because as soon as you do that, as soon as you are thinking in that way, where you are studying someone and you're trying to get inside their mind and you're trying to think, what do you want? You're not thinking about what do I want, what do you want? And then you're trying to shapeshift and mold yourself into being what they want instead of what resonates with you. As soon as you do that, you know you are dealing with a predator. That's what you're dealing with. Someone who, they're making you believe that they're about something for real, and they want to change, they want to be better, but they're just fooling you. They're tricking you. Because that's how they get you in. That's how they gain access to you. That's how they get close to you, is by giving you a little bit of what, or at least what they think you want to see. Now they've got your attention, they've got you to notice. Now you're investing your time, energy, money, whatever it is. And then that's where they've got you, just where they want you. Now they can control you. So, yeah, knowing that, you should know by now that it is all a game. And that's the problem as well. You take it so seriously. You show them your love and passion. You show them that you care. And that's when you lose all of your power. As soon as you start caring, you lose it all. Because guess what? They don't care. All of these things that they act like they care about, they actually don't give a shit. But you do. And that's how you're always, every time you're in a position of weakness, you feel drained and lifeless. Because when you show genuine care and passion for something, you're investing all of your time and energy into it. And all of that's just going into a void because they don't feel the way that you do. They're not on the same page as you. So, as I've said before, the person who cares the least in a relationship has the power. They've got the most power in that situation, the power to control you. And they control you through your mind by making you invest more of your time and energy into something that isn't going anywhere anyway. But you don't know that, and that's how you always lose. Because you don't recognize that everything you're investing into them isn't going anywhere. You think that it is going somewhere good. You think that you're doing something productive, but you're not. Because they don't think the same way that you do. They don't think like that. They're not thinking Okay, how can we make things better here? How can we work together and build something for real, something that's going to benefit us and maybe even the people around us, something sustainable for the future? No narcissist thinks like that. They don't think about a mutual goal or objective. It's all about themselves. And I need you to be aware of that. I need you to know that. Because when you know that, that is when you can break the cycle. The problem is, and this is one of the main issues for all of you, when you get involved with these people, you take them seriously. Everything they're telling you, everything they're showing you, you're thinking, oh, they really mean business. They're really about this for real. No, they're not. It's all an act. The only person who actually cares is you. They don't care at all. And you should know that by now if you've observed their actions, the amount of time you've been with them. You should know when someone's words do not match their actions. That should tell you everything that you need to know. Because if they care about all of these things so much, then why isn't their time going to that? Why are they so heavily focused on controlling you? Of course, they try to twist it and act like it's because you're the problem and they need to take control of you because you're bad or something is wrong with you. But if you look back, you will find before you got involved with them, it's only after that that things started going down. You were fine before that. But that is typically the role that they try to play. It's as though you're not right, so they have to be around you, they have to try to control you, and they're just trying to help you. It's amazing how they can twist it and justify it in their minds as though abuse is somehow a helpful thing. Harming someone, and yet if you were to do that same thing to them, then it would be wrong. Then it would be wrong. This is how narcissists think. It's how every abuser thinks. They are always the exception. And this is literally how they think in their heads. In their heads, yes, they know the difference between right and wrong. They do. And yeah, if someone else was to do that, or if you did that to me, that would be wrong. But if I do it, it's okay because I have a reason, it's justified. Something happened to me, it's unfair. You did something to me, so I can do this. That's how they think. That is how they think. As crazy as that sounds, that is how they think. And that is what causes the toxic situation to continue. Because it's pretty much just this person who lacks self-awareness. They don't self-reflect. And everything's just going outwards. It's very predatory. Very impulsive. Where it's just like, I have to do this to you to make myself feel good. And although it may be wrong for someone else, these feelings, these sensations, it overrides anything, any morals. The feelings come first before the morals with them. And that's why there's nothing inside of them that stops them. So yeah, despite everything they have done to you, they will still think that you want them. They will still think that, as crazy as that sounds. And it's mainly because of the false character Remember, they wear a mask, they hide this true version of themselves deep inside of them, and it's only the closest people to them who get to see that, who get to see who they actually are. And if that's you, then yes, you would have seen that by now, and you will be aware that people outside of the home, they don't actually see that true person and what they're actually like, but you do see that. And when you're not around them to gain a position with you, to connect back to you, yes, they have to present that false character again. I mean, of course, you know, if you've seen this character, you've seen the true self before, they're not just going to come at you again unless they can trap you and they know you're not going anywhere. But if you're somewhere else in the mind and you're trying to move in a different direction, all they can do is come back with a false character and make you believe that they're about something. That's all that they can do at that point. And they know they have this game plan. So they know what they have to do at certain points. They know that if you're in a position where they can't trap you, where they can't gain control over you, their only option is to bring back the false character and try to groom you, to try to get you to believe in them again. But what they're actually doing when they do that, they're just preparing you for even more abuse. Because that's all it's going to lead to. When they bring back the false character, things that they think you might want to see, the illusion, that's just to prepare you for even more abuse. They're not thinking in their minds about the future and trying to lead it into something good. Narcissists don't think that way. It's only ever going to lead to more abuse. That's only ever what it's going to be. And yet they will come back and try to tempt and entice you by making you believe that they're on the same page as you. They want the same things. When in actuality, they don't want that at all. They don't even think about that. Only as much as if it's what you want, or if they think that it's what you want, then yes, they will give you that. They'll give you that illusion just to pull you back in. But then once they've got you, they're going to switch it up on you just like they always do. Just like they always do. And that's never going to change. They're always going to be like that. Like I've said before, the best you will ever get from them is an illusion. That's all it's ever going to be. It's never going to be anything else. Yeah, they can make you think they've changed. They can make you think that, yes, I can become a productive member of society. I can become a good person. I can become someone who will be there for you, who will care about you. No. No. They can't do any of that. They can't do any of that for real. They can make it seem very believable. They can. But even then, it's only for a short period of time. It's never going to be consistent. It's never going to be something where they're doing it every day. And you're going to be with them in a relationship for many years and it remains unchanged. It's never going to be like that. Never. You're never going to see that from them. As I've said before, narcissists, they're only good for one night stands, a weekend. Anything long term, it's going to fall apart. They cannot sustain success in anything over a long period of time unless they have an enabler, a doormat, a fool, someone who makes the behavior possible. And most of the time, that's probably you, the person who is watching my videos right now. And that's why I'm trying to wake you up so that you don't have to keep going through that. Because I know what it's like and I know that you deserve better than being someone's doormat. someone's fool, someone's emotional punching bag. You deserve better than that. We all do, and I know what it's like. I've been there myself. I've been through all of these things in my own experience, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I wouldn't. Because no one deserves to be abused. No one deserves to be locked in a situation that is outside of their control, which they did not consent to. I mean, fair enough if you want to be a part of something, but when it's something that's abusive, we have to look at it, we have to see it in a different light, because why would someone consent to abuse in the first place? Obviously that must mean that you were manipulated, brainwashed, your standards were brought down to that. You began to see that as normal when it's not. You deserve better than that. But that's what they do. That's how they lock you in, by targeting your self-esteem, bringing you down, making you think that, yes, I am deserving of this. No, you're not. You're deserving of so much more than that. And yeah, as I've said before, it all starts by you realizing your own worth. Because when you do that, you're going to start to look at things differently. You're going to start to see and think, is this going to be useful for me for a practical purpose? Is the reward really worth the risk? That's how you're going to think when you start to realize your worth, if you haven't already done that. You're going to start to think, do I deserve more than this? And you're going to look at yourself, everything you've been through in your life, all of the suffering, all of the pain, all of the misfortune, everything that you've lost, everything that you've gained as well, everything that you worked for. You're going to look at all of these things and you're going to think, was all of this worth it just for this? Was all of it worth it just for that? Just so I can be around someone who is manipulating me and they're not actually about anything for real. If they were, then maybe I might consider it, but I already know that they're not, so why should I even waste my time? And that's how you're going to think. That's exactly how you're going to think. Because if you are a person who really values themselves and you realize your worth, you're going to look at it like, I do deserve something real. And not only that, but I deserve something long term. Because I have something to bring to that. I have something to invest. So you should too. And if you're not about that, then you should take off. Find someone else. And that's exactly how you should think. And I know many of you, you've been brought down to such a level over a long period of time where you have forgotten your worth. You have forgotten who you are as a person and what you wanted all along. You've forgotten all of that. And that's why I make these videos. It's intended to wake you up, to realize that you are so much more than what you were led to believe. Because yes, you were tricked, you were brainwashed, you were brought down. And now is the time to come back up. And you do that by realizing who you actually are, by realizing your worth. And that's something I want for all of you. Because that's the only way that they can get you. They have to get you by... But they can't really do that unless they have control of you first. They have to kind of corner you before they can bring your value down. Because otherwise, I already know, you just walk away. If they come at you and just try and devalue you right off the bat, you're just going to walk away. Forget them. You don't need them. That's why they have to come in first, and they idealize you. They act like they can see everything that you are. They recognize just how amazing you are as a person, and that pulls you in. Because of course, yes, if you've worked very hard in your life, you are looking for someone who is on the same page, someone who can value you, appreciate you. Yes, you are looking for that. But then they already know a person like you who has worked hard all of their life to become the person that you are today. They already know that once you know what they're about, you're not going to stick around for long. You're going to be out there in no time. Of course they know that. And that's why they have to trick you, they have to keep you down. Because then they can control you, they can stop you from leaving. That's what they have to do when they're around a powerful person, a person who knows their worth. They have to control you. It's the only way. Because otherwise you're just going to get up and leave. And then they're going to be left alone to their own devices. And they don't want that. Because then they're forced to look at themselves and the monsters that they have become. Yeah, they can create the illusion when you're around, when you're there to validate it. But once you take you out of the picture, it all falls apart. That's why they're so controlling, so possessive. That's why the last thing they want is for you to leave. Because then they're going to feel like shit. They have to look back, see everything they did to you, and watch you move on and become a better person, destroy the illusion. No, they don't want that to happen. They'd rather just live in this fantasy where it's you are the problem, and there's nothing wrong with them. That's what they would prefer. And of course, that is the reason why they genuinely don't want anything to be better. Because if anything was better, that would destroy the illusion. Then they'd have to take some accountability. Because there's all of these things wrong with them. And they wouldn't know where to start. When you've covered things up your entire life, you have to remember that narcissists, they are not like us. We're very honest, trustworthy people. We wear our hearts on our sleeves. We say things as they actually are. We are very open and direct. Narcissists, they do tend to be more covert. A lot of them. They hide the things they do. They sweep it under the rug. They cover it up for years. They've got a lot of skeletons in their closet. And you should already know a person who is hiding all of these things over so many years. When they're doing that, they clearly have no intention of changing anything or of being better. They have no intention of doing that if they're hiding things. I mean, a person who comes out in the open and they're like, yes, okay, I made a few mistakes, this is what I did, and I'm trying to change, I'm trying to be better here. A person like that, yeah, you can work with them. Yes, if something could happen with them, they have some potential. Because they're owning up to it, they're taking some accountability. They're not just trying to hide it. But someone who just covers it up and they're like, no, I didn't do that. I'm not a part of that. A person like that, they're going to be the exact same way until the day they die. I can promise you that. They will. Because you can clearly see it's in their intention. They have no intention of changing. The person who does, they're going to be trying, they're going to be doing certain things which are moving in a certain direction. They're going to be taking action. They're not just going to be speaking words. So that's how you know the difference. And I want you all to see that the difference in different types of people, narcissists, and how they clearly have no intention of changing anything. It's all just delusion, a fantasy, believing that you still want them after everything they've done to you. Because they're expecting you to be susceptible to their manipulation. That's all it is. That's all it's ever going to be, is manipulation. I need you to remember that as well. That is all that it's ever going to be. It's not ever going to be anything more than that, because deep down they already know they're not going to be good enough for you. They're not going to be what you really want. They're not going to be able to sustain the illusion over a long period of time. They already know that you want something real, and they know that they're fake. Yes, deep down they are aware of that. They do know that they are fake and manipulative. They are aware of that. And yeah, so by default, all they can do is trick you. All they can do is make you believe that they're about something else. But all they're about is just using you and harming you. And there is nothing more to it than that. They're only intended to use you for their own needs, their own benefit. And you just need to look at it for what it is, as it actually is. You need to develop the awareness and see them as, what is this person trying to achieve? What are they trying to do? And when you look at it like that, you will be able to identify the difference between a person who is genuine and they are actually thinking about the future and trying to build something with you, or then a person who is just clearly just trying to trick you. They're trying to lure you down the wrong path. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to see the difference between someone who is real and someone who is not. Because, as I've said before, it's a person who is fake. Really, they lack the self-awareness, the introspection. They don't self-reflect. It's more about just you and what you're meant to have done and how you need to be better, how you're not good enough. If you see it, it's never about them. I mean, they might use it as this false epiphany, this way of trying to come back to you, but it's never about them genuinely making a difference and over a long period of time. It's never about that. And when you really recognize that, you will see that there is no future with them. You will see that. And then it will make it that much easier for you to pull back. Because many of you're taking it as though it is real, because you want to believe in it. You want to believe that it is real. You want them to be different. You want them to change. But you do need to recognize that they're not really about that for real. And as I've said, the way that you do that is by the lack of accountability and self-reflection. Because for someone to really have a plan and to be moving in a certain direction, you must first be checking in with yourself and what your objectives are and your reason, your motive for going in that direction in the first place. Because otherwise, without any reason or motives or a mutual objective, at some point you're going to pull back on that mission. You're not going to take it all the way, which is what they do. It's what they do. They seem like they're going somewhere, but then they always go back in a different direction, in an opposing direction, because you thought they were with you, but they never were. They were never with you at all. You thought they were along for the ride, but no, they were just putting you on a ride. They put you on the ride on your own, so that you could fuel them, you could benefit them, they could get something out of you, but they weren't there with you. You were on your own. But that's good as well, because once you develop that awareness and you realize, and you tell yourself, yes, okay, I am on my own, that's when you were able to free yourself. Just by having that awareness and realizing that you are on your own. Because the problem is when you are still susceptible to the manipulation and you think that they really are along for the ride, they're there with you. When you think like that, you're still being led astray and you're moving further and further away from yourself, which again is what they want, because then you just sink deeper and deeper into this hole where you are alone, when no one is around to support you or to reciprocate anything back to you. And again, that's a part of the manipulation. When they still think that you want them, and they want you to think that they still want you, with a purpose, with something long-term in mind, so they can get you on this roller coaster without even realizing that you're the only one on it. You're the only one along for the ride. And you're going along with it, and at first it may look like, yeah, they're there, they're watching you on the ride, they're watching you having a good time, because they care about you, they want the best for you. But then at some point, hopefully you will look around and realize they're not even there anymore. They're not even with you. You're on your own. And that is the point where you need to wake up and realize that it was all a game. They were never there with you at all. They were just kind of egging you on, getting you into it, and yeah, by doing that, it reflects something back to them where they think that you still want them, even though a lot of times you actually don't. It's all one big game, a shared fantasy, because you don't actually want them anyway. And you know, I don't want to sit here and tell you what you want, but I'd like to think, you know, if you're watching my videos, that I do have an idea of what you want, of what we all want. And yeah, you don't want that. You don't want an illusion. You don't want a fantasy. That's why a lot of you, as you're watching this right now, you're on your own. Because you wanted something better, something more. And you know that they don't want that. That's why you're in this position now where you're watching my video and you're separate, you're apart from them, you're not with them right now. Of course, the reason for that, it's because you've shared different motives, different ideals, different objectives. Like I've said, narcissists, they might be good for a one-night stand. To be honest, I'm not even good for that. I mean, you really want to have sex with a crazy person? Something that lacks love, it lacks intimacy? Because I know that's what you really want. A lot of you who watch my content, that's what upset you, isn't it? That's what got to you. It's to think that someone who's supposed to be with you, working with you towards something, you're thinking, I wanted this, I wanted something long term, I wanted something real, something where we work together towards a common goal. But then it hits you and you realize that, maybe this person didn't want that after all. And then it hits you. And you realize you're on this ride on your own. You're on the merry-go-round, you're just going round in circles until you just finally develop the awareness and you get off the ride that no, they're not with you. They don't want what you want. They don't share a common objective, goal, or understanding. And they never will. Which is how you ended up finding my videos in the first place. That's how you ended up doing that. Because, for one thing, they can't be vulnerable. They can't show you who they actually are. Because they already know that you don't want to see that. They haven't developed, they're emotionally immature. They prefer dysfunction, playing games, messing with your mind. That's how they get their thrill. But for you, the excitement, fun comes from a different thing, doesn't it? You don't like things that are too unpredictable. You don't like the idea of waking up in the morning and not knowing where they are, as I'm sure you've experienced before. You want something more sustainable, something that actually has a purpose. And yeah, they, believe it or not, they want you to want that from them. But they have no intention of ever giving that to you. They already know that they can't. That is the whole point of the false self and the illusion. It's just to make you think that they can. But of course there is a major flaw in the illusion because it only exists for a certain amount of time. It doesn't last for long. Of course, if it was sustainable, then it probably wasn't an illusion. It must have been real. Because the whole point of a false character, an illusion, these things, it can't exist over a long period of time. It just can't. And be sustainable and consistent, it can't. It has to fall apart at some point if it is really fake. The problem is, a lot of you, when the illusion does fall apart, you're looking at it like, oh no, I've just lost something of value. And then you feel it. It's like you're missing a piece of your heart. When what you should be doing is realizing that it was an illusion. And at some point, the illusion has to come to an end. The actor has to walk off the stage. That's how you need to see it. And that's really the message that I want to leave you with today. To realize that yes, it is an illusion. That's all that it is. It's not real. And you haven't lost anything other than a fraud, an imposter, an actor. As John says there in the live chat, yes, a shared fantasy. You're just sharing this fantasy with them. They fed it back to you. But it's not real. It all comes from your belief. Your belief is fueling their alternate reality that originally they created inside their heads, and then they projected it into reality to pull you into it until you're locked into this fake world. And then when they pull out, you're thinking that you've lost something of value, when all that's happened is they just left the illusion. They left you in a fantasy that they originally created, but then it became a fantasy of your own making. They left you in the fantasy on your own. And yeah, but what you got to do to really empower yourself at the end of the day is you need to take a look at that fantasy and pick apart what it is that resonates with you, what it is that you actually want, and then you need to take that and use it to motivate you to find something for real, because they're never going to do that. They're going to carry on in their little fake world, and they're going to keep doing the same things all the time until the day they die. But you can take the pieces of that fantasy that resonate with you and that you actually want, and you can go out and get that for real. That can become your real life. There's no reason why it can't. If it's something that you really need, then it will benefit you, and it will be good for the people around you as well. Of course, it's only a matter of time till that happens. That can happen for real if you really want it. So you don't have to see it as a bad thing that they've left you alone in this fantasy that they shared with you, because you have this feeling of loss, so you've lost something, when you should use it to empower you and to motivate you. Don't see it as though, oh no, I'm in this fantasy on my own, or the fantasy is over and now it's all over for me and nothing else is going to continue after that. No, you can make it happen with someone else, not with them. And you should not desire to have anything with them. I mean, what is the point in life if we just live inside a bubble, a dream, with a fake person who isn't actually about anything for real? What is the point in that? Which is why you have to go out and do it on your own. And that's why I'm here to motivate and inspire you. That's why I'm putting out these videos every day. Yeah, it makes me happy. It uplifts me when I make these videos, but I'm also doing it for you. I'm putting out this message to help you. And I hope that it does. I hope that it inspires and motivates you and just gets you to where you need to be, to where you wanted to be before you met this toxic and dysfunctional person. And as you can see, I am out here living my life, my best life, for real, which is what I do every day. I'm always out in nature, exploring new things. And yeah, I hope the same for you as well. I do recommend that, you all spend time outside. Don't just be inside all the time thinking about the narcissist, worried about what they're doing or who they're with. You should be focusing on you as well, and what's good for you. Because when you're around narcissists for long enough, you're just thinking about really everything that is wrong with you, everything that's no good, everything that's just going to pull you in even deeper. Just going back to the car now. I'm going to go out and get something to eat. Oh, we've got a can too. And Narc's in the car as well. Cat's gone into the car. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you. And if it was, as always, you can show your support down below by giving this video a thumbs up. Comment section, share the video, subscribe. And I am available for one-on-one coaching, which you can book on my website. It is narcsurvivor.co.uk. And also check out my Instagram as well. As many of you may know, I am traveling and I put new pictures and videos on there every day. So you can check out my Instagram. It is Narc Survivor YouTube on Instagram. Okay, that's it for this video, over 1 hour today. I hope it was helpful. I hope it inspired you. And as always, I look forward to talking with you in another one.